Okay, here we are, as promised, back for a reading from The Snake Doctor. The Snake Doctor.
You put it up toward the light a little bit more.
Okay.
All right.
How about that?
That is, no, bring it down, please, right there, and tilt it a little bit there, right there. Oh, yeah, I can
I'm
see
always
now.
being too much.
I know. Okay, and one more time, hold it right there. Okay.
Okay,
Like
in
that.
brief, what has gone on before is that Kojo Bediako Brown has gone to Ghana, West Africa, met a man up in the forest named Asiafo. Asiafo promises him that he can help him get the millions of dollars he needs in order to make a breakout film. The only thing he has to do is feed a stranger 4 times a year and get married within 3 months after he gets back home. Simple as that.
Okay.
A deal is a deal. And of course, Kojo is an honorable man. Akosua Ferguson, the woman back home. The long trip back to the land of milk and money gave me lots of hours to think about my bride-to-be. Akosua Ferguson, lots of heart and soul. How do you go about bucking the wishes of a couple, right-wing thinking, Negrocentric parents, all the way to changing your name from Cynthia, or was it Debbie, to Akosua? Don't laugh, that's a problem. And telling the folks that they could stick the inheritance, the homes, and all the rest of it up their butts if they didn't like what she was about. Akosua Ferguson, a novelist, a lovely woman, full of good vibes, independent thinking. We've had a thing going on for 2 years, and I've never even introduced her to my folks. Marvina, Jackie, Margot, beautiful but basically empty. Marvina wants a new car every year and someone to share her credit card debt. Jackie lives in a dream world. Margot is too hung up on her looks to really care about anything or anyone but the creature in the mirror. Akosua, I owe you an apology. What in the world have I been thinking about? I've been taking you for granted. I need to have my ass kicked. I felt pinpricks of anxiety. How is she going to take it when I ask her to marry me? What if she says no? Should I tell her about Asiafo? Nah, don't do that. She'll think I'm nuts. Akosua. After 2 years, Kojo and I have evolved into something that might be called a comfortable relationship. I knew a lot about him, his work, and his dreams, and he was definitely in tune with where I was coming from. I had spent a number of weekends in his Los Feliz apartment, and he had spent a few weekends in my Echo Park house, which meant we were way past the one-night stage stuff. Sometimes, after a good Italian pasta and a few glasses of red wine, several glasses of red wine, we would become a bit more passionate than usual. But did that mean we were desperately in love? Yeah, maybe not desperately, but I felt we were in love. We definitely shared a sense of humor. Case in point, I picked Kojo up from LAX when he returned from Ghana. We stopped at Palermo's for a couple of glasses of red wine to celebrate his return. Went to his apartment and took a very intimate joint shower, a prelude to. He popped in his covers and dropped off into immediate sleep. Of course, we laughed about it for days. It was certainly a matter of jet lag, but he was a little concerned about his masculinity for a few beats. What do you think, Akos? You think I need some ginseng or something? No, lover, I think you need a good night's sleep. He was much more positive and definite about this film he was going to make. Akos, I've had the idea to do this for a long time. My grandfather's eyes might be considered my tribute to my grandfather. I'm going to do it. I hate to be the one who says the dirty word. Money? It's coming. It's coming. He was just as positive about this other project. He made his pitch exactly 1 week after his return. We had been invited to his family's home in Compton for a family gathering. His pitch came the night before the event. We had massaged each other's bodies with fragrant oils and made slow motion love for long moments. Later, we curled up in each other's arms. Akos, he whispered, I want you to be my wife. All I could think of saying was something inane, like, don't you think this is a bit sudden? He stroked the side of my face and laughed out loud. I knew you would say something like that. I just knew it. And did you prepare an answer? Yes, I did. He got very serious on me. These past 2 years have told me everything I need to know about you, about us, and that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Kojo, please don't misunderstand me. I do love you. You know that. But marriage is a big step. I know. There was a dead silence for a few beats. Kojo, are you sure this is the time for us? Yes, this is the time for us. You sound pretty definite about this. I've never been more definite about anything in my whole life. Let me think about it for a couple of days. We sealed the agreement with a kiss and turned over to go to sleep, or at least he did. It took me about 10 minutes to come to my senses. Ms. Akosua Ferguson Brown, this beautiful brother wants to marry me. He wants me to become his wife, to live happily ever after, and all of that. We were going to be one of the hippest couples on the planet. Kojo, the creative filmmaker, producer, writer, director. Akosua Ferguson Brown, screenwriter, novelist. I could just see us traveling, having a grand time. I reached over and squeezed him so hard I thought I'd bruise his ribs. Kojo, I've given it a lot of thought. Yes, I would like to become your wife. I would like to become Mrs. Kojo Bediako Brown. Well, that didn't take 2 whole days, I'm glad to say. I wish I could have filmed the relieved expression on his face. Kojo. Akosua took a big, fat weight off my head. I don't know what I would have done if she had refused my marriage proposal because I didn't have a plan B. Her acceptance the night before our family gathering really put the icing on the cake. I had the delicious job of whispering to my dad and my mom, Dad, Mom, Akosua and I are going to be married. When? Soon. We haven't set the date yet. It took all my restraint to keep both of them from becoming town criers. Kojo get married! Kojo get married! If they had done that, the celebration would have started right then and there. Uncle Amin, Aunt Deborah, Uncle Kwabena, Aunt Rose, Uncle Carlo, Aunt Afia, first cousins John, Ernest, Frida, Pokua, Asavia, Eve, Fatima, Kwasi, second cousins, and on and on and on. I come from one of those large, tight-knit families that are settled on writing, written about, talked about, or shown on television. Akosua was delightfully surprised. Wow. And here I am thinking that my Nigerian gele and outfit was going to be too colorful. I think what you're looking at is largely my grandfather Kwame's creation. Ever since I can remember, he insisted on everybody wearing African clothes at family gatherings. I don't want to see any bastard Euro clothing at our family get-togethers. It just doesn't seem right for African Americans to link themselves with suits and ties inside the family circle. And so it was. Kojo Akosua whispered to me at one point, "Do you know what I had to go through to force my mom and dad to call me Akosua?" I suppose the blank look on my face said it all. I'm looking around at your family, everybody has an African name. Nzingha, your mother. Kofi, your father, these uncles and aunts. How did that happen? I really can't say. It took place before I was born. But once again, I think we could trace the thread way back beyond my grandfather. That's the effect elders can have on a family clan if they have their stuff together. Mom and Dad lured us away from the family circle for a little private Bristol cream sipping in the library. Show me a home without books, and I'll show you an ignorant bunch of folks in the house. That was one of my dad's favorite sayings. Akosua, we have all 5 of your books in our bookstore, and we're proud and happy to have you become a part of our family. Oh, thank you, Mr. Please, you're my son's bride-to-be. That makes you my daughter now. You should call me Dad. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. Mom, Dad, and Akosua clicked. By the time we left, they had started talking about how many grandkids we were going to have.
Uh-oh.
And what names we were going to give them. On the drive to our house, on the drive to her house in Echo Park, she started crying. Hey, what is this? You're supposed to be happy. I am happy, Kojo. I am happy. That's why I'm crying.
Okay.
But I'm also crying about my mother and father. I wish they were more like your folks. Well, people have to be what they have to be. I know. That's why I wish they were more like your parents. When will I have a chance to meet them? I figured we could go over this Sunday. We may as well get it over and done with. That bad, huh? You'll see. Harvey and Minerva. I was wearing this vanilla-colored, double-breasted Italian suit, backed up by a cold-blooded Panama straw hat and some handmade beige Moroccan loafers. No matter what, my prospective in-laws would never be able to say that I came for lunch at their place looking like an orphan. I wasn't intimidated at the idea of meeting them. I just felt vaguely pissed at the idea of spending such a beautiful day dealing with a couple of fuddy-duddies. Akosua, the objective novelist, had given me solid character sketches of her parents and a little rundown on their lifestyle. Dad has been hiding behind a daily newspaper for years. He doesn't like confrontations. He's a very complex man, definitely not a wimp, but he'll do anything to avoid a confrontation, especially with Mother. Mother is sneaky. She'll go around behind you to get what she wants. She had me going for a while till I figured out how to ignore her whining and conniving. My father and mother both come from upper middle class backgrounds. Teachers, attorneys, and professional people. They both made their own money. Father is an architect. Mother is the owner of 4 exclusive boutiques. 4. They think of themselves as being semi-retired. They tried to give me everything they thought I wanted with the accent on things. And I love both of them dearly. But there are times when I wish they would put this accent on love, warmth, caring, rather than things. Talk about things. Let's start with their house. One of those grand old things that silent movie stars used to own in Santa Monica, 4 blocks from the beach. We were met by the family maid, Dolores. Hola, Dolores, ¿cómo le va? Bien, señorita, muy bien. Damn, sweet thing, I didn't know you could speak Spanish. I get by. We were escorted through huge rooms with plastic-covered sofas, a fireplace that looked large enough to roast a cow, rooms filled with very expensive knickknacks from all over the known world. Akosua winked at me and punched my butt. Finally, we came to a back terrace veranda that was about 20 yards wide and 50 yards long, and a green rolling lawn beyond it looked like a section of the Augusta Golf Club. Father likes to practice his putting. Akosua whispered to me as we negotiated our way past a couple of filigree tables and chairs. Predictably, Mr. Ferguson was folding his newspaper up, and Mrs. Ferguson was standing regal tall, looking for all the world like a 50ish version of Diane Carroll. Or maybe Angela Bassett.
Okay.
Father, Mother, this is Kojo Bediako Brown, my husband-to-be. Kojo, my parents, Mrs. Minerva Ferguson and Mr. Harvey Ferguson. They both stared at me as though I'd stumbled off of an alien planet. I reached out to do the correct thing, a little bow, a handshake. Their hands were like limp rags. Akosua, did we hear you correctly, dear? Her mother probed sharply. About what, Mother? About this. This young man being your prospective groom? Yes, Mother. My husband-to-be. That's his official title until we tie the knot. Mr. Ferguson didn't say a word. He simply gestured for us to sit down. The dynamics were fascinating. Akosua and her mother were close to fighting a knockdown, drag-out fight with only a few words being exchanged. Well, I must say, this certainly comes as a big surprise. Doesn't it, Harvey? Poor dude. He looked like he wanted to run off and start practicing his putt or something. Oh, yes. It certainly does come as a big surprise. We endured a small, awkward window before Mrs. Ferguson opened up. Are we in a hurry to get married, or am I imagining the unimaginable? If you're asking me if I'm pregnant, the answer is I don't know yet. The awkward window narrowed. Mrs. Ferguson's eyes narrowed, and she looked like she wanted to throw something at her daughter. Mr. Ferguson looked down at his newspaper. Well, we can discuss all this later. Mr. Brown, would you care for something? We'll be having lunch shortly. Akosua popped in. Yeah, that's a wonderful idea, Mother. Dolores, tráigame dos botellas de Bohemia. ¿Hay Bohemia? Sí, señorita, pronto, came the answer from the kitchen. Akosua insists on speaking to the servants in their own language.
Okay.
It was my
problem.
It was my turn. Doesn't sound like a bad to me, Mrs. Ferguson. After all, we are in California, which used to be a part of Mexico. And depending on relative birth rates and politics, it may be Mexican again. There, the battle lines were firmly drawn. An icy curtain settled across the table as the maid delivered 2 frosted bottles of Bohemia. Mr. Ferguson signaled to the maid. Bring me one of those too. Minerva, are you having something? I don't drink beer, she snapped. Dolores, bring me an iced tea. Akosua pinched my thigh under the table and stifled a sarcastic smile. I took it all in. This way of being family was completely new to me. The beer was deliciously chill. A few pregnant moments passed as we sipped and watched Mr. and Mrs. Ferguson look uncomfortable. Mr. Brown, please call me Kojo, Mr. Ferguson. And you too, Mr. Ferguson. Yes, of course, Kojo. So, our daughter tells us that you want to get married. Father, Akosua broke in. I told you that we were going to get married, not that we wanted to get married. Akosua, must you interrupt your father like that? Mr. Ferguson looked like he wanted to push his head into his shoulders. Yes, Mother, I must interrupt my father like that because he needs to be corrected. Once again, the icy curtain dropped. Mrs. Ferguson decided to do a flanking movement attack. Kojo Akosua has told us that you're a brilliant writer, director, filmmaker. Akosua tilted her head back and slugged half of her beer down. She was definitely enjoying herself. Yes, it's true, I am. The sour expression that sucked Mrs. Ferguson's cheeks in made me smile. Well, I must say, Kojo, you're quite modest. Have you done anything noteworthy? I did a monotonic recitation of my credentials, starting with the first film I made, a Super 8 handheld job about women who would follow their men into Skid Row. I was a sophomore in high school. All through my USC film school days up to my present project, My Grandfather's Eyes, Akosua beamed at me and called out, Dolores, dos más, por favor. Si, señorita. Ma and Pa Ferguson slumped a bit as we sipped our cold bohemias. We had him on the ropes. Kojo, I hope you don't think I'm being intrusive, but I'd like to know one thing. What's that, Mrs. Ferguson? Why do you want to marry our daughter? I hesitated for a split second on the verge of laughing before I dive-bombed his feeble question. Mr. Ferguson, Akosua is a treasure. She has brains. She knows how the world works. She's beautiful. And she has two great parents. What more can a man ask for? Mrs. Ferguson coughed into a napkin, and I think she was contemplating another flank movement when the maid announced, Lunch, she's ready. Whew. Delicious tamales, enchiladas, refried beans, rice, guacamole salad, and more bohemias. Mrs. Ferguson was determined to slip a jab or two in, even if she was on the ropes. Kojo, I'm sure you come from a good family. The best! I snapped at the old snob. Bullshit time was over. Yes, of course. I was about to say, in good families, the business of marriage is taken quite seriously. Akosua groaned. Oh, mother, give us a break already, please. After 3 bohemias, I was feeling quite up to whatever the sister had on her mind. No, please, go on, Mrs. Ferguson, speak your mind. Well, it seems to me, she caught her husband's downcast eyes for moral support, that a suitable period of time should have been set aside for a proper engagement. Mrs. Ferguson, Mr. Ferguson, I can assure you we have been firmly engaged for the past 2 years. I gave Akosua a sly wink. But we weren't informed. Where's the engagement ring? You weren't informed because our engagement only concerned the 2 of us, period. And so far as rings and all the rest of that Eurocentric nonsense, who needs it? The important thing is a heart-to-heart commitment, not a ring commitment. The Fergusons stared at me as though I'd slapped them in the mouth. Are you saying that it's Eurocentric to have an engagement ring? Mr. Ferguson rumbled. Yes, sir, I think so. As well as this charade we're going through right now. If matters were really going to be handled properly, responsible elders in my family would have contacted responsible elders in Akosua's families. Gifts would have been exchanged and so forth and so on. But this is America, for better or worse. We're African American and things are different for us here. Akosua has accepted my proposal and we're going to be married. There's really no need for us to sit out here on such a lovely day antagonizing each other over a done deal. Akosua gave me that sly look that said it all. Keep it up, baby, keep it up. Mother's loving it. Well, I must say, Kojo, you do seem to know what you're about. Yes, Mrs. Ferguson, I do know what I'm about. I've known since I was 10 years old. Fine, I'm glad to hear that. It really puts my mind at ease to know that we can give our approval for your marriage to Akosua without any reservation whatsoever. Don't we, Harvey? Mr. Ferguson looked slightly bewildered by his wife's turnaround, but nodded in agreement anyway. Akosua laughed out loud and choked her beard, a smile at the old fox. Now then, now that we've resolved that sticky little problem, have you set a date? No, Mother, not yet. Don't worry, Mrs. Ferguson. You'll be the first to know where we're going to do, what we're going to do, and when we're going to do it. That takes a load off my mind. Akosua, how do you say bring more beer? Más cervezas, por favor. Dolores, más cervezas, por favor. Sí, señora. The maid answered giggling at Mrs. Ferguson's lousy Spanish. 45 minutes later, after the cheeky kisses and limp handshakes, Kojo and Akosua drove away trying to maintain straight faces. They both exploded with laughter at the first intersection. Kojo, did you see the flip-flop that lady did? Your mother is a very clever lady. If you can't beat them, join them. So that ends chapter 6.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs of chapter 7, and we may or may not get into it. Something tells me that we may get into it, but we may or may not get into it at the beginning of chapter 7. Dear Kojo, just a note. I know you probably up to your necro projects, things to do. More power to you, brother. Ghana hasn't been the same since you left. I'm saying that for many reasons. The main one being the fact that I miss you a great deal. That may come as a big surprise from someone who is supposed to have a stiff upper lip as mine is, huh? But I remember that we agreed to be completely honest in our communications with each other onward. My office staff has shown a greater appreciation of my presence since your departure. Smile. And life in Ghana here continues. I hope you had a pleasant trip home and that you remember to drop me a few lines whenever you have the time. Love, faithfully yours, Grace. P.S. Went to visit my Aunt Jeannie and show last weekend. She told me to remind you to be careful, to be aware. It all sounds rather mysterious to me. And that's we're gonna read it for a moment.
Okay.
I hope that your moaning is with regret that I won't continue.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's good. I thought. Don't tell me I've failed with an at-home audience.
Oh no, it's really into it, very much so. It'll be interesting when the two families get together.
Oh yeah, but you know what I did, and this happens to writers sometimes. As the story continues, I made a weird goof. Akosua's parents are named Minerva and Harvey.
Right.
Would you believe that I named his parents the same names?
Oh no, you didn't.
In my outline, I had them straight, but I don't think it interferes very much with anything, because the name is not said often enough for you to...
I thought they had Afrocentric names.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Nzingha and Kofi is the father and son.
Right.
But 2 other people are named. I'm really getting mixed up.
Okay.
2 other people in the story also named Minerva and Harvey.
Okay.
And
you should always figure it out.
I wanted to let those who are paying attention know that I'm aware that I goofed. But hopefully it doesn't distract or detour too much from the story itself.
Well, since you're only reading up to the 9th chapter, into the 9th chapter, not the 10th, maybe it won't.
It's going on.
Yes, indeed.
It's going on.
Well, I totally enjoyed that. Thank you so much. The book
This book.
Yes, that book.
This book.
That book.
The Snake Doctor.
Yes, The Snake Doctor can be purchased at.
With this interesting back cover, the blurb.
Well, it's a little hard for us.
This fellow here.
It's a little hard to zoom in on.
Can you zoom in on that?
I think you'll have to turn it more toward the light. There we go.
I just wanted to show you that.
All right, hold on. Okay.
It was pointed out to me that it's a very unusual blurred photo.
Yes, it is.
And I wanted to explain to those who might wonder about what this is all about.
Tell me.
There's a custom in some places in Africa to coat yourself with ashes when you undertake something seriously. Mm-hmm. So this is me, and this is me too.
Yes.
But this is really me, because I'm really more spirit than I am material. I live in here. I exist in this. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but I'm absolutely ephemeral, and don't take me seriously. Take this seriously.
Yes, okay.
Having said that.
And the book can be purchased at Author House, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or your local bookstore. Go in and just say, I want a copy of The Snake Doctor by Odie Hawkins. Website, www.odiehawkins.com. And thank you, as we will look forward to Chapter 7.
Medase.
Medase.
Medase.